What does it mean to be a warlock? Power. Only warlocks understand true power. True power lies in knowledge, in understanding. Power channeled, not controlled. The storm is raw power. The trance is true understanding. Both are required. The Stormcaller, then, is both the question and the answer, and thus what it means to be a warlock.
Hello, everyone, and that is probably one of my favorite cutscenes that I ever saw in D1, and it really, really rose Stormcaller through the ranks, at least for liking it, though it always has been a little underpowered, at least in D2. But that is not the case anymore, and so let's get started with two different Stormcaller builds that I have for you today. First, let's go over the weapons. Yes, you can see that this is going to be a Praxic Blade build. It will give us some anti-barrier. We're also using Hyperblade for the Catalyst to get us amplified. We're using Impact Core, Forceful Blade, and the Offensive Form, mostly for a bit of ammo every 3 hits and the most damage. I'm using Asai Eterna as well, with Trickle Charge and Jolting Feedback. Trickle Charge is mostly there because of our exotic. Same thing for our bitter end, Trickle Charge and Killing Tally, just to make sure that it can do a fair bit of damage. I did also have a roll with this, with Jolting Feedback, but I didn't really want to use it. So what we're using today is Stormdancer's Brace. Storm Trance hits and final blows increase the damage it deals, and it refunds super energy when it ends. Ability damage while amplified grants bolt charge. And with Arc Soul and our Ionic Sentry, it will be kind of crazy. For our stats, I'm going with 2 super fonts so I can kind of get my super stat up. Ashes to Assets will be really nice because Arc Soul now counts as a grenade. You can alternatively use another Ashes to Assets if your super stat is higher. I'm also using 2 grenade fonts here because my grenade stat isn't quite up to 200. Alternatively, you can use another firepower mod if you have more space. The chest piece is general resistances. Our legs are stacks on stacks, insulation to make sure we get our class ability, and absolution because we will generate a bunch of orbs just to keep our armor charge up. And then we have powerful attraction because we will be casting our class ability a bit. We're almost at 100 class, so I'm running a class font. And then time dilation just to make sure our armor charge lasts a little longer. For our subclass, we're using Stormdancer's Brace, so obviously we have Storm Trance on, a Healing Rift because we kind of lack a bit of recovery on Arc, Ball Lightning, and it's just what I prefer. A Pulse Grenade, though truly you can kind of run whatever. Our aspects are Ionic Sentry and Arc Soul, just because they will both count as grenades, spread blind, Spark of Shock, so that both of our grenades can jolt. Spark of Frequency, mostly for that second bit. While amplified, the effects are increased and you gain increased bolt charge stacks. Spark of Ions, defeating a jolted target creates a bolt, or defeating a target with jolt or bolt charge creates an Ionic Trace, which is really nice. And then Spark of Resistance, because this is going to be a kind of melee build with the blade, so having that DR is nice. So, how does this build work? Let's spawn in some majors, and you shall see. First, obviously, we're going to be having our Arc Soul. It will be jolting, it will be up pretty much all the time. I like to add clear primarily with Bitter End, just because it is a machine gun. That is what it is built for. And the Ionic Sentry will come after a handful of kills. It also blinds when it's initially placed down, so that's how we're going to deal with unstops. And then our blade is barrier, and then Arc is the overload killer class alongside stasis. So it is a little silly, to be honest. I'm going to show you a bit of like optimal damage stuff, but I need to get my Ionic Sentry back real quick. Let me kill a few people here. And one more. Yep. And so what we want to do for the most damage that we can deal is, since our ability hits while amplified do give us bolt charge, we want to have both our Arc Soul out and our Ionic Sentry out, because both of their hits will give us bolt charge. And then you kind of just go to town on them. You may or may not deal a bit more damage, because you will be able to still increase your ascending amplitude stacks by hitting enemies, but since only Carl's here, you know, that's just single target boss damage. But hey, 40,000 damage is not bad at all. But yeah, that's kind of the build, and let's get into an activity. I'll see you with the other one.
It's a relatively simple assignment, this. I hope you won't be bored.
Just the opposite, Devrim. After dealing with the anomaly, time travel, and advanced metaphysics, a straightforward mission sounds refreshing.
Here comes their last effort. Do what you do best.
Alrighty, and welcome back. And so for my next one, you're kind of seeing the helmet already if you know your exotics. We're going to be using pretty much the same weapons, though I will be using non-denouement because I will be running on ultimate this time, much like the last one, and I need an unstop weapon. But hey, it still works, and just to show how long it's been since I've used that weapon, there's still shatter shafts on it. Let's quickly go over changes to our subclass. We're using Chaos Reach this time, still using Healing Rift, still using Ball Lightning and Pulse Grenade, but we've switched out Ionic Sentry for Electric Static Mind, which gives us Amplified upon collecting an Ionic Trace, and also generates an Ionic Trace each time we defeat a jolted or blinded target. Pretty much the same fragments, Spark of Shock so that our Arc Soul can jolt, Frequency, Ions, and Resistance still round out the whole kit. Then today, we're also using Fallen Sunstar. Ionic traces you create move faster and grant you additional ability energy, and nearby allies also gain ability energy when you collect an Ionic trace. We are going to be a little more weapons focused, so we do have a special ammo finder for our saber, harmonic siphon, and an ashes to assets. We also have firepower mod, a harmonic loader for our bow, and a grenade step. And on our chest piece, we have some general resistances, and a harmonic ammo gen mod, mostly to go with our bitter end, stacks on stacks again, recuperation, and an arc weapon surge so that our weapons do hit a little harder. Then we have time dilation, powerful attraction, and class font, which just kind of buffs up our stats to 100. So that's kind of the build, and then yeah. It's really simple. It's more focused on the neutral game more than anything else. So let's put some majors in here, see how it goes. Though in the testing range, it's not quite as good, though it's still worth showing off, I suppose. As Ionic Traces come to me, watch my ability bar and see how much more ability energy they grant. It is a pretty significant chunk. Especially when there's a bunch of small mobs, it does really help keeping up your ability energy like that. But I keep forgetting about that. For DPS, you kind of just want to throw your abilities out, get your Arc Soul, do your Chaos Reach, and then if the boss can be sorted, I didn't mean to throw there. Ideally use the lightsaber, otherwise you can change bitter end out for something like Bittersweet, which is a grenade launcher from a Revenant if you were playing during then. If not, then find another arc heavy weapon that you so enjoy, unless you just really want to use bitter end, by all means. But let's go into an ultimate activity, and then I'll see you at the end.
Just a team of one, eh? Don't get lonely out there.
Loneliness will be the least of your worries.
goods for you once this one's down.
The threat's been neutralized. Do these solo missions happen often?
Alrighty, and that is my arc builds for y'all. Coming into Monuments of Triumph. Have a good day. Hopefully you enjoy them. Drop a like and a sub if you feel so inclined. And I'll see you in the next one.